Hi, I'm Neil Baumgartner, one of the facilitators here at the Jim Crow Museum of Racist Memorabilia. We're going to share some of the stories of the people whose lives are commemorated on the cloud of witnesses here in the museum. This cloud of witnesses contains the images and names of various martyrs from the civil rights era. It's by no means a full collection of everybody who gave their lives, but it does provide an opportunity for us to discuss different individuals who made a great sacrifice to gain civil rights in this country. We want to share these stories to provide a little bit of insight into the effects of Jim Crow, of racism, and of the hatred that gripped this country for so long.
I woke up this morning with my man who said on feet on. I woke up this morning with my man.
On June 21st, 1964, at the beginning of what was to be known as Freedom Summer, 3 civil rights workers, Michael Henry Schwerner, James Earl Chaney, and Andrew Goodman, lost their lives to Klan violence in what would be a case that gained national attention for the past 40 years. A couple weeks prior to their death, on Memorial Day in 1964, Schwerner and Chaney had arranged to set up a freedom school at Mount Zion Church in nearby Longdale. Klan members, thinking that they were going to find Schwerner and Chaney at a business meeting at the church, surrounded the church, beat some of the church members, and burned the church. Unfortunately for the Klan, Schwerner and Chaney were not there at the time. They were actually in Ohio at a national conference that was teaching people how to take part in this Freedom Summer program. When word got to Ohio, Schwerner and Chaney jumped in their Corps car and headed back down to Mississippi along with Andrew Goodman, who they had just recruited to come and help. As they were heading back to the Corps office in Meridian, they were pulled over and arrested by Neshoba County Deputy Sheriff Cecil Price, who happened to be a member of the local Klan. Deputy Price jailed the 3 civil rights workers, and while they were in jail, he contacted Edgar Ray Killen. The details of exactly what happened that afternoon are unclear. What was clear is that around 10 p.m., the 3 young men were released from jail. As they departed from the county jail in Philadelphia, Mississippi, and drove back towards Meridian, they were once again pulled over by Deputy Price along with 2 carloads of Klansmen. The 3 men were put into the police car, driven to a remote location, and when they were driven to that location, Michael Schwerner and Andrew Goodman were both killed by close-range shots fired by Klansman Wayne Roberts. James Earl Chaney was savagely beaten and tortured prior to him being killed. The Klansmen took their bodies and buried them in an earthen dam on another Klansman's property, where the bodies lay undiscovered for 6 weeks. The disappearance of the 3 men was highly controversial in the area. Some Mississippi legislators and powers thought that it was all a hoax.
Jim, we got 3 kids missing down there. What can I do about it?
Well, I don't know. I don't believe there's 3 missing. Now, I'm going to tell you why I don't think there's a damn thing to it. They were put in jail in Philadelphia, in East Mississippi, right next to Johns Tennis's home county. And they were going to Meridian. There's not a Ku Klux Klan in that area. There's not a citizens council in that area. There's no organized white man in that area. So that's why I think it's a publicity stunt.
I believe them jokers planned and sitting off up in New York laughing at us Mississippi folks.
Well, I believe it's a big publicity hoax, but if they're dead, I feel like they asked for it.
6 weeks later, when they did find the bodies, it was confirmed that these 3 young men had been murdered, had been brutally murdered, and their bodies had been disposed of.
Yes, Mr. President.
They found those 3 bodies 6 miles southwest of Philadelphia, Mississippi. 6 miles west from where they last seen. They don't know that these are the bodies. They moved them into Jackson to identify them. They're off Route 21. It's right near the site of a new dam that's been built. They have every reason to believe they are the bodies. So call the families and tell them that there will be an announcement in the next 10 or 15 minutes. And we'll, as soon as we get proper identification, let them know further.
Despite all of the evidence that was gained during the investigation, the state of Mississippi refused to press any murder charges against any of the perpetrators of the crime. 3 years later, in 1967, the federal government pressed charges against 18 individuals for violating the civil rights of Schwerner, Chaney, and Goodman. There was no federal murder statute under which to try the men who had killed them, so this was the best that they could do. After a trial, 7 men, including Deputy Price and Sam Bowers, the Imperial Wizard, who had ordered Schwerner's elimination, and Wayne Roberts, who had been the triggerman that killed Schwerner and Goodman, were found guilty. 7 others were acquitted. 1, the charges were all dropped. And 3, there was a hung jury, including for Edgar Ray Killen, with one of the holdout jurors saying she could never convict a preacher. After the trial, the judge, who was also a known segregationist, said that they killed 1 nigger, 1 Jew, and a white guy. I gave them all what I thought they deserved. The memory of the killings and what happened in Mississippi haunted the members of the communities in Neshoba County and the greater area of Mississippi for over 40 years. People were seeking justice. As a small measure of justice, in 2005, 41 years after the murders, Edgar Ray Killen was finally tried, convicted, and sentenced to 3 20-year sentences for the killings of Michael Schwerner, James Chaney, and Andrew Goodman. To this date, he is the only perpetrator of the crimes who was convicted or even tried of any murder charges in the killing.
The roadside, I cried alone, all by myself. I cried alone by myself. I stood on the roadside and cried alone by myself. I stood on the roadside and cried alone by myself. And there's no way for me to get along. I was wanting to send train to come along and take me away from here. Friend, take me away from here. Some train come along and take me away from here. And there's no way for me to get along.